quite appropriate that we probably start off just with a 1 minute silence before we proceed any further. Thank you so much. To start Commemoration, I'd like to introduce our main speaker for this event. So I'd like to introduce Comrade Sheridan from Solidarity. We will say a few words for John Maclean. Thank you, Tom.
Thanks very much, Jerry. I've got to say, comrades, when it comes to discussing the life and times of John Maclean, it's very humbling to be introduced by Jerry, because in the whole of Scotland there are probably only a handful who could match Jerry's knowledge and understanding of the great John Maclean. So it's very humbling to be introduced here for this graveside oration in his memory. Jerry has a book, he's told me, that is now finally finished. I know he's been working on it for a while, so he's now at the publishing stage. If there are any of you who have got a few bob, please get in touch with Jerry and see if you can publish it for him. If not, let's get it published online at least, and make sure everybody can read and learn and be inspired by the life and the times of John Maclean and what he actually stands for. Comrades, each and every one of us who have a knowledge of John Maclean and his life, we should aspire to live and try and reflect the principles that Maclean reflected all his life. And we should do that all of the time, not just at the time of the annual commemoration of his death. But we also, when it comes to this event, we reflect a wee bit more, and I couldn't help but reflect with the recent absolute pantomime that's been on in America and American politics. I couldn't help but reflect on some of the criticism that historians, armchair historians, had of Maclean in terms of his analysis, his political analysis of the world. Those of you that have read about Maclean will know that Maclean predicted that the next world war, after the First World War, was going to be between Britain and America. And some historians then used the fact that that didn't happen to try and undermine Maclean, undermine his analysis. And of course, what we have to say is his analysis was spot on. Because wars, for Maclean and other socialists, wars were nothing to do with causes. They had everything to do with profits and markets and economic control. That's what wars were about. That's what the First World War was about. And what Maclean did is he analysed what happened in the First World War, and he predicted that because of the rise of America and their appetite for economic and political control, that what would happen is, because Britain was the biggest empire at the time, that America and Britain would have to go to war. The only thing John didn't foresee was that they didn't have to go to war. America just swallowed up Britain. The truth is, Britain became the 51st state of America. So his analysis was actually spot on. And we have a situation now that we are still sending young men, predominantly working class men from the most deprived estates of Scotland, to die in wars that have got nothing to do with causes, nothing to do with principle, and everything to do with access to economic markets and economic control. And that's why when I was invited to William Wood High School on Thursday night to take part in a modern studies question time, one of the questions was, what would the panel do to solve the Syria conflict? And brothers and sisters, I made the point I'm sure Maclean would have made if he was there that night. And that is, the first step to solving the Syria conflict is you get British troops out of of Syria and stop interfering in other countries' affairs. How the hell can we prevent wars and conflicts across the planet if we keep intervening and interfering in other countries' affairs? Maclean would have been 100% for a free Palestine. Maclean was 100% for a free Ireland. Maclean would have been 100% for non-intervention in these countries. Nothing to do with how bad Assad is, how bad Hussein is, how bad Gaddafi is. We traded, we faded, we built these people up until it was time to do them in because they weren't serving British interests any longer. The real warmongers, the real people that deserve to be sitting in the Hague just now charged with war crimes are Tony Blair and George Bush. And the best way I think that we can remember the memory of John Maclean is to remember his anti-First World War stance. Very, very, very important. Very important to bear in mind. Some of us have the luxury of marching against the invasion of Iraq, and there have been 1 million across England, Wales and Scotland assembling in London. It was, in other words, easy. It was easy to oppose the war in Iraq because people had knowledge of what was going on. It wasn't so easy to oppose the First World War, brothers and sisters, because with the jingoism and the imperialism that was getting promoted and the lack of knowledge and the lack of the ability to disseminate information, there was a lot of pro-war sentiment. But it didn't stop Maclean standing in soapboxes in Buchanan Street and Argyle Street and calling for people not to take part in the First World War and to condemn that First World War. And, by the way, he got a difficult time for it. Some evidence of stones being thrown, abuse being hurled. But he was right. And by 1916, 1917, more and more people realised how much he was right. And there was nothing about glory about the First World War. It was about profit first, profit second, profit third. And it was young men dying for the profits of big business. So I would conclude my remarks, brothers and sisters, by asking each and every one of us, in the memory of the great John Maclean, to continue to oppose imperialist wars, imperialist intervention, and to argue 100% that we want not just an independent Scotland that is for peace and prosperity for all of the working class, but we want an independent republic that doesn't have any crown, that doesn't bend the knee or tug the forelock to any privileged family who think they can rule over us by virtue of their birth. So we say here loud and clear in the memory of John Maclean, we're not just for independence in Scotland, we're for an independent socialist republic. Thank you very much.